Great. Do you want to know how to put your Toyota in 4x4 real easily? Well, watch this video and I'll show you how to do it in about 5 seconds. Has it been 5 seconds yet? I get asked this question, but I also see it popping up lots around the forums and even on our 3GT Facebook group. And actually, a lot of people seem to have problems with it. I mean, I don't know how you have problems engaging 4x4 in a truck, right? It's because there's 3 simple ways to do it. 1, you put it in drive and you are moving and you just turn the knob. 2, you're coasting or driving, you slap it in neutral to take the load off the actuator, and then you slap it into 4-wheel drive. 3, this is where people have problems with, is when they try to engage 4x4 and they're not moving, or they're in park or wherever they may be. I'm going to demonstrate all 3 and show you and give you some background information why you should do it certain ways and not this way. So you get in your truck, you start it up, you know it's going to be a little icy, or maybe you want to go out and have some fun, right? So what do? You want to try and put in 4x4. Personally, this is what I do. I mean, you can probably do it in the park, but I don't like to. Put in neutral. You don't have to have your foot on the brake if you want. Turn the dial, wait for it to click, and you might get it engaged or you might not. This chance right here, I actually got it engaged. You can actually hear it clicking as you engage it too. Slap it in drive, away you go, right? Simple. So, and then same thing. I mean, you can disengage it with the same method. You could stop completely, and I mean, like I said, neutral is just a thing for me. Put it back in neutral, slap it back in 2-wheel drive, and unclicks. Done. Now, the only problem with that is you're not always going to get that lucky. I mean, if you do every time, I'm happy for you. But not always are you going to get lucky where you're always going to get engaged when you're stopped. The proper way to do it, and this is what I've been told and also instructed on by many people around the world, and I've read up on it too, is that it's kind of like on the fly system where you want it to be moving so that it can grab and not get any clunks or anything like that. Because I have clunked my, whether it's a transfer case or drive shaft, I'm not sure which, I have clunked before disengaging or engaging it while not moving. So the proper way, put it in drive, any speed from 0 to 100k an hour or 62 miles an hour, you can properly engage it. After that, it gets too fast and it won't grab. So right now we're doing 30k an hour, spitting gravel everywhere. You got some ice coming up or something where you want the 4x4 in. You can. This is the first method. You can just take your foot off the gas so you're not putting throttle down. Turn the dial, just let it coast, and you're instantly engaged. It engages probably faster while you're moving than you will be sitting. So that's one way to do it. I'm not going to constantly disengage it and engage it every second here, so I'm just going to give it some time before I actually switch back. Because the more you switch it back and forth, and this is something you don't want to do, is constantly go between 4 high, 2 high, 4 high, 2 high. Because you're going to wear out your actuator, and before you know it, you might need to spend a couple grand to get that fixed. I don't know how much it is, obviously, but I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's to scare you, and so you don't do that method. So I'm going to give this a minute, and then I will show you how to disengage it, the same method. Okay, been driving for a little bit. You know you're going home, or you're going, say, into a parking lot, and you obviously have some tight turns. You don't want to be in 4x4. Well, like same thing. You're driving, you're coasting. I'm doing 60 kilometers an hour right now, 35 miles an hour. Off the gas pedal, slap it back to 2-wheel drive, and unclick, done. That was probably not even 3 seconds worth, and I'm already engaged. And that's all to it. Now, is it wrong to do it that way? 50-50. I mean, I got this tip from Toyota techs that I am with and know, and they told me, and ever since this, I've been doing it this way, and actually I feel a difference, is that when you're driving, you're coasting, whatever it is, put it in neutral so that there's absolutely no load on anything. There's no load on the engine, there's no load on your transmission or your transfer case when you're engaging, and then switch it to 4 high. Is it required? No. Is it a good habit? Yes. Because if, say, you slip on your foot or something, or your truck starts slipping, you know, especially if you catch wrong traction, like right now I can't move because I'm in 2-wheel drive. But the best thing you can do is put it in neutral, then switch to 4 high, watch your icon for the green light and wait for it to go solid, slap it back in drive, and then continue on your way. And the same thing for when you disengage it. You may, sometimes I've noticed, is that you hear that odd clunk, but that's also because you're doing it while you're not moving. And it's because you're probably like a hair off from that tooth from disengaging it, which is why they always want you to be moving while you engage and disengage your 4-wheel drive. Now, I may not be accurate on everything, but this is the way I've been doing it, and I have 55,445 miles on my truck. If you want to get technical, I probably have closer to 60,000 miles on my truck because of my 33-inch tires that I run on here, so it throws off my odometer. I've been doing it this way probably for all of its life. I mean, at first, I actually almost screwed up my whole drivetrain because I wasn't engaged properly, but then I learned real quick on how to engage it the right way at first. But then after a while, I learned that you should not have any load on your actuator, and it saves the parts. So, I mean, in the long run, it probably will save you a lot of strain on your parts because you're not putting any load under it, you know? And that's why you also have to do it for 4 low, but that's also because it's going into a whole different gearing, and that's why you have to put it in 4 low, because it has to switch an entirely different gear ratio for you, and that's why 4 low is 4 low. So, but I thought I'd give you guys that little quick tip. I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of people ask about it, a lot of people have talked about it, and a lot of people seem to have problems. Or some people end up blowing their transfer cases. I don't know which. I've seen actually a couple people either blow out their actuators or transfer cases just like that because they're not engaging it properly, or they're forcing it to engage. You know, some people will go from 2-wheel drive to 4 low. I mean, good luck, but it ain't gonna work, right? So, but the best thing you can do, I do it at decent speed. I don't really do it any faster than 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles an hour. Just, I feel like any faster, I just feel like a truck's gonna blow up. But, you know, you go neutral, switch, 1, 2, 3, done. Boom, I'm in 4-wheel drive. No clunks, smooth, I'm done. If you notice though that sometimes it's thinking too long even when you're driving, you can put it back into drive, and I've noticed that it actually locks it in there. I don't know why. Sometimes it just needs that extra thump maybe. I'm not sure what that is, but I've noticed that a few times. But that's also when if you're going really, really slow. But if you're driving at least 25 miles and up, it's going to engage like that. There's going to be no sweat on it, and it's easy breezy. But like I said, do not go switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because, I mean, you're probably putting more wear and tear on it than you want to. If you're going to drive in 4-wheel drive, drive it in 4-wheel drive. Otherwise, don't bother. I mean, I drive on mud terrain tires, and I engage 4x4 a lot, I guess. Yeah, I do. So, that's my little little how-to video for your Toyota truck. I mean, like I said, it goes for the Tundras too if you want. So if you have a Tundra, or you're going to test drive a Tundra or whatever, do it the same way. Put it in neutral, put it in 4x4, wait for it to lock in, slap it back into drive, you're ready to go. And personally, whenever it comes down to parking your vehicle or whatever, get it out of 4-wheel drive. Don't leave it locked in. It's just a little, my little personal opinion on that matter. I would never leave it in 4-wheel drive, especially if you're parked in tight spaces, because 4-wheel drive and you're barely moving, and you know, you can bind up even if it is a little slippery out. So that's it for this video, guys. Have a good one. I'm outie. Hey, look at that, I'm out of 2-wheel drive, or out of 4-wheel drive again.